Hey everybody, this is Music City Driver. Decided to do a little quick video just because I had some issues last night and I wanted to kind of get them off my chest. So, just to see if anybody else has experienced something like me. So, nobody is on yet, but I don't expect anybody to just jump on at 9:49 in the morning, 9:50 something in the morning. But anyway, I'm running a little later today. I was out a little late last night. I made pretty good money last night. It's not that. It's the fact that had a couple of issues with Uber last night. I only had one Lyft ride all night last night, but I had like 10 Uber rides, so it was pretty cool. So, first of all, I had somebody, and I don't know who, rate me 1 star. I mean, that's ridiculous. I have not had a 1-star rating in I don't know how long. I know ratings don't really matter. I'm at a 4.93 now out of 1,200 and something rides, so it's not that big of an issue, but it just annoys the crap out of me because they just announced this 180 days of change with Uber and about how it's supposed to protect your ratings and all this crap, and then suddenly somebody can just rate you 1 star, and I have not seen any kind of feedback whatsoever. Now maybe when the weekly, the previous week's ratings and stuff come out, maybe I'll see something, but my past 10 reports have been 5 stars for the previous week, so I don't know. Maybe somebody mad about being a select. I don't know. I really don't know. I cannot, for the life of me. The only thing I can think of is somebody who threw up in my car, not this last weekend, but the last weekend, and maybe they just now got around to rating me because they charged them $150 because they puked over my back seat. I mean, luckily I have leather seats and stuff. It's easy to clean up, but that's the only cleaning fee I've ever gotten, ever, in 1,200 rides. I don't know. But anyway, that's the only possibility I can think of rating me a 1 star. But why are you going to rate me 1 star when your friend puked in the vehicle? That's ridiculous. I might have to go down to the hub on that one too. Another thing I might have to go to the hub on, and I know this is not a huge deal. It's a $5 cancellation fee, but so last night, it was yesterday evening, actually. It was about 6, 7 o'clock. I get an Excel request for a man's name, right? I can't remember the guy's name now, right off the top of my head. But, so I get a ping, and sometimes downtown Nashville, especially on 1st Avenue, right by Acme Feed and Seed, which is a very popular, in fact, it was Lyft's most popular destination, apparently, last year. It's right on the corner of 1st and Broadway, right across from Hard Rock Cafe. When somebody pings you from there, a lot of times it will bounce across the river somehow to go to Nissan Stadium. So I got a request, an Uber Excel request from Nissan Stadium. Well, I knew there was nothing going on there yesterday. There was nobody over there. There would be no reason for anybody to really be over there. So I pull over and call the driver, and it's a guy that answers, and he says, "Oh, well, I'm in Cleveland, Ohio, and my daughter is in Nashville. She's using my Uber account." I was like, "Okay, well, where is she?" Because the pin was dropped across the river, and I'm not going to drive all the way over to Nissan Stadium just to sit there and wait by the pin if I can go ahead and cancel this or have them cancel it. So he said, "Hold on just a second, let me call her." So he calls and says, she says she sees you, you're on 2nd Avenue. I said, "No, I'm not on 2nd Avenue, actually. I'm actually heading over closer to," because I was trying to get closer to that pin so that the countdown would start, so that the 5 minutes could pass, and then I could no-show it, to be honest, because I didn't feel like searching around, because, I mean, for God's sakes, this is somebody else's account. The guy's in Cleveland. He doesn't know where his daughter is, and you can't even talk to her because there's no way to figure out where the heck she is. So how in the hell are you supposed to do anything? Anyway, sorry, I usually don't cuss during my videos. I know hell's not that big of a cuss word, but, and I cuss way more regularly, but I don't feel like that's necessary on my YouTube channel. But anyway, so I don't get the rationale here. So, okay, so anyway, to make a long story short, the lady or the girl is on 2nd Avenue or somewhere, and he's like, "Well, do I need to cancel this or what?" And I said, "Well, yeah. I mean, I can't find her. Obviously, do you know exactly where she is? if you can't tell me exactly where she is, there's no way I can find her because I can't call her or I can't text her. It's ridiculous. So he's like, well, whose fault is it? Is it my? I said, it's her fault because she put the pin across the freaking river. If she put the pin across the river, how the heck am I supposed to find her? These people just don't understand how the app works, I guess. I don't know. It's totally ridiculous if you think about it. Of course, he's going to take his daughter's side, I'm sure. So he gets mad. He gets mad and says, I'm not going to pay $5 for this mistake because you're not where you're supposed to be. I said, if I was where I was supposed to be, I would be across the river from your daughter. Would you like her to swim across the river to get to me? He didn't really have much of a response to that. So he says, okay, fine, and hangs up, and then like a couple minutes later, he cancels the ride. So Uber, in their infinite wisdom, decided not to give me a cancellation fee, even though he canceled after 2 minutes of requesting me because of my ETA. And I tried to explain to them on support, which is horrible, always horrible, because it's some dude in India or Pakistan or somewhere, and he doesn't know where the hell anything about America, I guess. I don't know. So he doesn't understand what's going on. Probably has never driven for Uber in his life, and he's sitting there in support trying to do things. So basically he's like, our cancellation fee policy is transparent and all this stuff. So it's crazy. So I didn't get my cancellation fee, and I responded back and said, look, I try to explain the situation, which is very hard to explain something that complex. Just typing it out would take me forever. So I finally just told him that I would go down to the hub and just have it resolved in person. And thanks so much for your 180 days of change, and thanks for nothing, basically. And like I said, it's not the $5, which would actually be $3.60 on an XL ride, because they take 28% off of your cancellation fee, which is something else I've never agreed with. Why do they get a cut of your cancellation fee? I don't know. On Lyft, they don't take it, so I don't know. It's the principle of the matter, really. It's the fact that I wasted my time, I wasted my gas. If I had had minutes on my cell phone, I would have wasted minutes on my cell phone trying to find someone who I could not find because the owner of the account was in another state, and his daughter decided to use his Uber account, and there's no way to find her. So that's absolutely ridiculous. I don't understand how Uber can expect for drivers to go to crazy places that they know people are not going to be. I don't get it. So, like I said, it's just my experience that led me to believe that she was downtown and not across the river. That's just my driver experience as a driver who's been driving for 6 months and has done over 1,200 trips with Uber, and another 400. What's up, Stuart? This is the only time I have to talk to people, really, is I don't really have much time to talk on the phone. So, I tried to call before I got there. If you listen back in the live stream, you can hear the whole thing, but I can kind of go over it again real quick. So I got a XL call in downtown Nashville yesterday, and it was across the river from downtown at Nissan Stadium, and there was nothing going on over there. So I know for a fact she wasn't over there. Yes, Mystro is working for me just fine. It's working really well for me. But, so I get a ping across the river, which usually tells me that somebody is on First Avenue, which is right beside the river, and it bounces the GPS signal over to that side. So I call, and the account owner is in Ohio. He's in Cleveland, Ohio, and his daughter is using his Uber account, and he doesn't know exactly where she is. So, how am I supposed to find this person? I mean, that's ridiculous. And they wouldn't give me my cancellation fee, basically, because I didn't arrive at the location in a certain period of time. Because I wasn't going to go across the river and wait for 5 minutes, because there's nobody else across the river. Oh, and to add insult to injury, I got the same ping from the same girl again, and I just let it pass. I didn't even accept it, because, well, actually, Mystro accepted it for me anyway, and I had to end up canceling it because it was the exact same person I knew she would give me a bad rating. So So it's not working on Lyft. That's weird. I was just saying earlier that last night I worked from about 6:30 until about midnight, and I only got one Lyft ride. I actually got a couple more pings, but I honestly, when a regular Lyft comes across, I don't accept it unless it's prime time, because I would much rather get a plus ride than I would a regular Lyft ride. Even though regular Lyft rides pay more, in my opinion, than Uber rides, I would much rather take a plus ride any day. Plus rides pay really well. I don't know if they're more expensive than XLs or not. It seems like they're more expensive than XLs. I don't know. But yeah, so I don't know. I just, like I said, I made this video this morning because I felt like ranting a little bit. I don't blame you. I mean, if what Android version do you run, Stuart? Is it at least 4.0 or? I would also, and you may have already done this, I would also send in a bug report. From what I understand from Uberman, is they are actively working on things as they come in. Hopefully, they're doing this. But I mean, it occasionally messes up for me, but not very often. Like, then the kind of mess ups that I get is just a little bit of a delay in coming back up. Both apps coming back up. So I have mine set to on the primary app setting or whatever, and I had it set to Lyft, but now I have it set to Uber. Oh, 2-month-old phone. Okay, so that's pretty new then, I would imagine. But I just have mine set to on, where both apps come up at the exact same time. I don't have any reason to have a delay because there's so little. In comparison to Uber, for me anyway, there is so much less Lyft business than Uber business for me. And honestly, I'm getting tips like crazy on Uber. So, I mean, I got like $10 on 2 rides last night for Uber XL. So, I don't know. I get really good tips on Uber XL. I think it's because people are able to split the fares easier. They can split it between 6 people, so it spreads out the impact of the. Yeah, absolutely. 10-to-1 is probably about. Like I said earlier, I've done over 1,200 trips with Uber, and I've probably only done about maybe 400 with Lyft. Now, I did start Lyft about 2 weeks later than Uber, just because it took longer to get onboarded with them, but that does not explain that much of a discrepancy. But yeah, easily. And actually, last night it was exactly 10-to-1. I got maybe 1 or 2 other requests, but that was it from Lyft. Oh, another weird. Sorry, I forgot to tell you guys about this. Another weird ride I had last night, and this could have been the 1-star too. I don't know, but so I get a ping after I drop somebody off for an Uber Select, and it's on the interstate. I'm like, what? Did somebody put the pin in the wrong place? So no, actually there's a guy that had broken down on the side of the road. Apparently he had a flat tire and something was wrong with the lug nuts or something on his vehicle, so he couldn't change his tire, so he requested a Select. And I don't know if he meant to request a Select or not, but that was a nice little lucrative ride, and I didn't expect to get a ride because I was all the way up in like north of town near Goodlettsville and stuff, so I didn't expect. I was on my way back into downtown, and when I got that ride, but that was a very odd one. I've had that happen before, where it showed the pin on the side of the road, and it was actually a hotel right off by the interstate or something. So I thought that was it at first, but it wasn't. It was a guy actually sitting there waiting on me to pick him up from his car being broken down. So anyway, but yeah, like I said, the business for Lyft in Nashville, to me, is not as much. There's been people saying, oh yeah, I'm getting more Lyft trips because less people are driving for Lyft now because of Uber doing tips or whatever, allowing tips. I don't know about that, but have you guys been getting tips pretty well on Uber? I know Stuart's on. I don't know the other person who's on. So, oops, let me turn off. I just got a response back from Uber again on the that cancellation fee that I should have got. Like I said, it's not the $3.60. That's not the, I mean, $3.60. That's not much. It's the principle of the matter. Like I said, the fact that the guy was in another freaking state and his daughter was in Nashville, and I'm supposed to know where she is. That's ridiculous. I can't call her because the app is on his phone. I can't text her because the app is on his phone, and he's going to call me back and forth and try to direct me to where she is. That makes no sense whatsoever. Just totally ludicrous, actually. So I'll be interested to see what they say when I get off of here. I'm sure it's going to be the same auto robot reply that Uber usually has. I'm hoping this 24/7 live phone support helps quite a bit, because a situation like that is much easier to explain over the telephone than it is in texting or sending a support message. It's just frustrating, very frustrating. So you've gotten just a few tips, Stuart. I actually get quite a few every night. I get them, and they start rolling in even after I've quit for the night, because people sometimes don't rate until the next time they take an Uber. Sometimes the next day I will get a rating and a tip at the same time. So I've done quite well. I got like $40 something in tips last week from Uber. Not every ride tipped, but it's almost getting to the same level of tips that Lyft was giving me. And Lyft has always been, I've always been made a lot more with Lyft than I did with Uber because of the tipping option. But last week I made a lot on tips, actually $40 something just through the app. Now I got about $50 or $60 in cash tips as well. So that was shocking. Like I mentioned in one of the previous videos, a bachelorette party that I had, I took them through Cookout drive-through, and the fare was like $19 and some change, and they gave me a $5 tip on the app and a $20 bill. So, going back to life insurance. So how is that business? That's commission-based, I'm sure, right? Is that... I've always been scared, honestly, of commission-based things. I used to have my Series 6 and 63 certification back when I worked for MetLife, but I worked as a pension benefits administrator, basically for a 401k. But I've since let that lapse a long time ago. That was 20 plus years ago. But I've always been really, really hesitant to do any kind of thing that has commission-based thing with it. I mean, I guess you can kind of see Lyft and Uber as being uncertain as well, just because you never know how many rides you're going to get. You never know how lucrative those rides are going to get. Yeah, actually, absolutely, it's not easy. I mean, like I said, I have my Series 6 and 63 certification, which I think allows you to sell life insurance, because they go over whole and term life insurance and all that stuff. But it seems like it would be very hard to do, especially if you're having to cold call people to try to generate leads and stuff like that. It seems like that could be very, very time intensive, I guess you could say. I mean, like I said, I do this kind of part time. Last week I needed some extra money, and the Uber and Lyft came through for me. I ended up working I worked like 90 hours total last week between both jobs. I worked my butt off last week. Oh, that's good if you have leads. That helps out a little bit. Sorry, backing into a parking space here. My day job. But if you have leads, that could definitely generate a lot better income for you, I'd imagine. I got a pretty good parking space. Anyway, last week I made really good on Uber and Lyft combined. Like I said, I worked almost 50 hours, or right at 50 hours, and that was in 5 days. So I worked about 10 hours a day for those days, and I brought home over $1,100. It was pretty awesome. So I did really well. I'm hoping I do pretty well this weekend. I actually did. You too, man. I'm about to head in. Last night I made about $160, so that wasn't too bad from 6 to midnight. That was pretty good. So, all right, guys. Well, I'm about to head into my day job, and then I'm going to get out and drive this afternoon. So, I see somebody else joined here. I don't know who exactly it was. Yeah, Stuart. About the Mystro. I don't know what the deal is with that. I know I shared with you the little reset thing that I do, and I've kind of tried to share that with some other people as well. I can't prove definitively that it works, but it seems to work for me. It shuts the other app off for me, brings them both back up really well. Mystro just works really well for me. I don't know. That's why I support it so much, because I think it works really well for me, and I hate to see it not working for people, because I think it's a really worthwhile app to invest your money into. It makes it so much easier to me. It just, automatically accepts or whatever, And to be honest, I set my Lyft rides at a minimum of like a two times prime time, or two times surge on Uber, which is the equivalent of like 100% prime time, I think, or something. And then I do the same on Uber X. But I still get VIPs coming through, but luckily it does not auto accept the VIPs, because VIPs are just a pain in the butt, in my opinion. They never tip. They're kind of jerks. Their ratings are usually not that high, which kind of shocks me. Doesn't really shock me, but they use Uber a lot, apparently, and that's the only reason they're VIPs. It's not because of their ratings or anything, which is the opposite for Uber drivers, which is kind of irritates me a little. So you're going to pair a highly rated driver with a lower rated VIP just because they use Uber more often. Just because you use Uber a lot does not mean you're a nice person or a good person. So anyway, that ran into on that. But yeah, Mystro works really well for me. Like I said, I just set it and go. And at times, if it's surging on X, I may change some of the settings so that I get a surge. But if it's not equal to the minimum mileage for like Select or XL, then I don't do that. I was able to actually get my accounts split for Uber after lots and lots and lots of support messages. I finally got somebody to separate it out where I can do XL only, Select only, XL and Select only, or all of them at once. So that helps me considerably. Helps my acceptance rate to stay up, my cancellation rate to stay low, because I'm able to do that. That actually helps out a lot, and actually it takes away some of the functionality for Mystro, actually, because I don't have to filter out all those X rides. But to me, I would rather get an XL ride every 20-30 minutes than an X ride every 5 minutes, because X rides run me ragged, and my vehicle is not a high miles per gallon vehicle, and I would rather do a 5 mile XL ride and make 3 times what I would make for maybe not 3 times, but that I would for an X ride. I don't know. X rides to me are counterintuitive for me, because I get 16 miles a gallon in the city, 22 on the highway usually. So if I'm running around downtown and dropping people off and I'm doing X rides, I'm making $3 a pop. It's not sustainable for me. Just way too many maintenance costs and fuel costs for me to do that all night. So anyway, guys, I'm sorry to hear, like I said, Stuart, that Mystro is not treating you well. All I can recommend is that you report every bug that you see and try to give as much detail as you can, so that they can kind of try to trace down what the issue is. That's the best advice I can give. Because the more information they have, the more they're able to track something like that down. Whether it's an API issue or what. So, Make sure you have the latest version of your Android operating system. Make sure you have the latest version of the Lyft driver app and the Uber driver app. Make sure both of those are good. Make sure that you set it up properly when you first logged in. You may have to go back in and reset up where it gives the permissions for Mystro. There's some really helpful videos on the Mystro website. The link is in my description down there. There's some really good setup demos and stuff like that on there that they have made. I've been thinking about making a couple of my own. I made one about the referral codes and stuff, but my referral code's now changed. So I would appreciate it if you guys would use my link below to access the Mystro app. And the app is in the Google Play Store, but your subscription has to be done through the website. They don't have it set up where you can do it through the app yet. But like I said, if you guys have any issues, I will try my best to try to help you and walk you through them if I can. I am not tech support and I do not work for Mystro. I do get referral codes or referral bonuses from them if you sign up using my link, but I don't actually work for them. So anyway, guys, just thought I would do another live stream. Like I said, I'm going to be without a way to do regular videos for a little bit, so I'll just be doing some of these live streams. I can do videos on my phone, and it's actually pretty good camera, but it seems like the live streams work better. When I try to record videos on my phone, it tends to lag, and then the video and the audio lose sync with one another, and it really makes for an annoying video later. Anyway, guys, I will hopefully talk to you guys soon. If you guys are out driving, be safe out there. If you are looking to try the Mystro app out, look in my description down there for the link. If you are looking to drive for Uber or Lyft, use my referral code below for a bonus for both of us. On Uber, it's not quite as lucrative as it used to be. Lyft pays a little differently. I did a video on that. But anyway, if you guys are out driving, be careful, be safe, and make some money.